Gentle ladies, I have one question. When you thought about what class would be the best in this challenge, where I'm beating every boss with a different skill, did you think of the Amazon? If you did, good on you, cause you would be correct. So without further ado, let's see how a good character deals with a challenge run. We start off in the character creation screen, letting the random name generator decide just how creative we are going to be today. In the first act, our skill options are limited, so limited even that I decide to just grind some levels on Bishop Boss before getting things going by putting my first points into jab to kick things off. Jab is a skill where you jab something with a spiky stick, the most rocket scientist of explanations, I know, but it's just that hard to make the easy things look complicated. What truly puts the Amazon Leagues above all the other classes for this challenge is that she has access to a full-on passive tree that will help every single thing we try to do. Just by putting points into this skill tree, all the garbage we will be trying to do is going to get easily carried. And things will be great. All I have to do is not forget to put points into this. I'm sure I would never fuck that up though. The best part of doing a shared stash run is that a lot of your items are already prepped, so I can just grab 2 chipped amethysts for 6 to strength right out of the get-go. With points put into jab and critical strike, saying hello to Bishibosh has just become that much easier. In the stony field I reach Rakanishu and his friends, none of whom are my concern. What does matter to me though is that they bleed in experience, so a few jabs later I get the level up I crave. But why do I crave it, you ask? Well, that is because now I get to do what I did all those years ago on one of my very first Diablo 2 videos. I get to play an Amazon wearing the Saigon set. Now if you're thinking to yourself, why would he wear that? It looks weird to have a character this gorgeous and dress her up by covering up every part of her body. That however is the cost of doing business, for see here is Rakanishu. Thanks to Saigons we can just obliterate him in seconds. I don't know about you, but to me, that is some hot shit. I repeated the process of elimination some more for a few more level ups, allowing me to reach level 10 and the strength to equip the Saigon helm as well. Tons of attack rating, life leech and increased attack speed. It isn't what a girl wants, it is what a girl needs. The fastest way to level up in Act 1 is to go to the Forgotten Tower and just clear it out. There are no more runes we need, but I'm never saying no to a higher level. So once we reach level 13, we get to equip this 92 attack rating dual resist ring, making it so that our resistances, normally one of the parts of a run you spend all your time worrying about, are already fixed before even heading towards Andariel. The fight in the final level of the Catacombs is what you would expect a fight between an Amazonian warrior and the first boss to be. Quick, easy, clean, resulting in a final explosion when the health bar hits 0 and we are done with the first act. I had some gear upgrades prepped for Act 2 already, so I grabbed the rare maiden javelins with +2 to skills and the shield with double perfect diamonds in it already. I have the flawless to make the third one, but we are short a cube for actually doing that. No rush on that though, our resistances are basically maxed now anyway. For the second act in the game, I am going to be using my favorite skill of all time. Longtime viewers will of course immediately catch that I am talking about Impale. No matter what I do, I just can't ever escape this skill, and today's run is no different. Impale deals an absolute fuckton of damage. Even at level 7 it deals 500% extra. It also slows enemies so much that the bosses break, making Impale an amazing skill to do the Ubers with. Which isn't what we are doing at all, not even close. Instead, we are going to use this slow skill that drains durability every 3 hits to clear through piles and piles of enemies, while having a good old cry thinking about how area of effect skills are a thing of futures past and past presences. The one upside though is that I get to use a javelin this time instead of a spear, which does change things quite a bit. For starters, I figured we should just go and grab the cube, cause it will allow us to cube our 3 flawless diamonds into the third perfect one we want for our shield. Now our poison resist looks good too. Not like it matters cause antidotes exist, but when you're doing a shared stash run, you might as well min-max the crap out of everything you can. In the Claw Viper temple, I work my way through Fangskin and grab the Claw Viper amulet. Doing the maggot lair with Impale isn't so much difficult. It would be far better described as tedious cause of having to switch the javelins around every 30 seconds. So about a million little poke and switches later, I reach the 3rd level and am able to grab my Staff of Kings. If only every maggot lair ever went like this, what a wonderful world that would be. The Arcane Sanctuary was just more of the same of this. Lots of small corridors, lots of impaling things through every orifice with my Javelin of Consent and lots of seeing the summoner die. Meaning it is time to squash the bug. Like I mentioned at the start of this act, Impale is the skill Amazons use to kill the Ubers with. And now, while you are rushing to the comment section to tell me about how they use another skill as well. Don't worry, I know, but we are saving that skill for much later in the run. In the meanwhile, Duriel is just looking sad, flat and dead, so we are off to Act 3. On my way there I realized I have made a mistake. There are only two things that matter on javelins, increased attack speed and +2 skills. Now I don't have a single pair of javelins with increased attack speed. However, I do have a pair of ceremonial javelins with +3 to skills. I know, they are white. It's all very racist of me, but I don't look at colors, I look at numbers, and these say +3 to skills, which straight up makes them better than any rare with +2, no matter how many other mods it has. The downside though is that they require 109 dexterity, which is why usually you just see me running around with maiden javelins all the way up to Hellbale, cause that is a big ask. And you can see I'm not used to going for that, cause I am short quite a bit of dexterity. Some would say I am not even halfway there, but this is a dex half full kind of channel. For our rumble through the jungle, we are going with Fend. This is the Amazon's version of a skill that pokes things multiple times in quick succession, like Zeal for a paladin or Fury for a druid. There is just one difference between those. Zeal and Fury are actually good and Fend well, isn't, so I'm happy to use it this early in the run to get rid of it. In the spider cavern I use my Fend ability to put some new caverns in spiders while picking up the eye and the jade figurine. At this point the rewards I am getting for the Git Bin quest, while easily gotten, are just not keeping up anymore with the stuff I have already. The 27 lightning resist ring with 99 attack rating is very good, but the rings I already have are just god tier at this point. Thanks to Fend of fending multiple enemies at the same time. See what I did there? The ruined temple is no problem, allowing me to grab the tome, which will grant me 5 stat points. One quick if you don't mess with me, I won't mess with you moment later. I make my way into the sewers level 2, only to be greeted by dolls who just want to end my shit, but fail miserably, cause this is still normal and everything is free here, like subscribing to the channel. Along the way to the council, an ethereal poleaxe drops, while an upgrade for Razan's weapon already. Once he hits level 25, it's going to be an even bigger upgrade, so more on that in a bit. Thanks to the power of Saigons, I am able to just make the council cease and desist on being alive. Razan reached level 25 during this fight as well, so the poleaxe he is using is getting an M and a tier rune put into it, which makes the rune word Strength, an excellent melee weapon rune word that gives a little bit of damage, life leech, a lot of crushing blow and a bunch of stats. Perfect timing on the crushing blow, because with all the quests in Act 3 done, it's time to go and Fisto Mephi. I don't know what to tell you, just look at this fight. The demon of hatred doesn't stand a chance and dies no problem. Time to get to hell. The location, not the difficulty setting, that comes much later in this video. I'm guessing you, the viewer, have already thought of this, but after Fend there are no more physical javelin or spear skills to work with, which means it is time to deal with corpse fire in the Den of Evil, so we can reconfigure our skill points at Takara. For our next few acts we are going to be going into the cold skills. Points in freezing arrow aren't a thing yet, that skill requires level 30, but cold and ice arrow are fair game to start off with, seems fitting as well, making hell freeze over. Switching from javelin skills to bow skills does mean that it's time to change out our gear a bunch. To start off I gambled some boots, during which I ended up gambling the Hasaurus boots, a solo self-found staple thanks to their 20 faster run walk and fire resists. Bow wise I went with a unique hunter's bow I found on one of the earlier runs, a stealth and the Tancred's combo for the 78% magic find. After gambling the boots I defeat exactly one monster, and it drops the set light plated boots. These are Vidalas and they do fuck all, but they have 30 faster run walk, which makes them instantly good. Thanks to my resistances still being solid, I was able to just tank my way through the souls at Izual and got to deal with him in the way I like best, 2-on-1. I hadn't mentioned it yet, but for Act 4 I decided to go with Cold Arrow, cause it's the skill that deals the least damage and I figured I might as well use it in the shortest act. One thing I learned doing these runs is that you want to route it in a way that you use the weaker skills in Act 4 so you aren't locked into them for too long. For the Hellforge I ended up getting an Eld rune. The Chaos Sanctuary wasn't too bad at all. I'm pretty sure Razan could just solo the whole thing if he wanted to. Along the way we managed to pick up a Sivub's Cudgel, which is a fantastic early game weapon thanks to its massive max damage and racism to the undead. And of course we cheesed the Infector again, cause why wouldn't we? While the Diablo fight was very bad for Razan. For some reason in this game mercenaries take a gazillion damage from bosses. Sounds like a him problem though. For me the fight was mostly a slow and steady race, with Ice Arrow chipping away very small bits of Diablo's life total until the demon goes down. We haven't hit level 30 yet, so for Act 5 normal we only have one option in Ice Arrow. The damage on this is okay-ish at best, but the freeze length more than makes up for that. As always, we take care of Shank the Overseer, making us reach level 27 and getting to switch to a Lore Helm for the +1 to skill. And strangely enough, the energy is another big factor here. The Amazon's cold skills are very mana hungry, so every bit of mana helps. To that goal, I also switched to an amulet that has 17 energy and 12 resist all. Perfect for this build. Mana problems aren't a big deal when you just have access to all sorts of cool toys, like this inside halberd that has been passed around more than me at this point. Anyway, meditation aura, lots of mana. I've explained this often, it's still all true. As an Amazon, you're always heavily incentivized to run a lot of Eldritch. It's really easy and you have lots of skills you want points in fast to make things play smoother. This is where your build really starts to come together. I'm guessing most people know this, cause we've all been playing this game since the Big Bang and will keep playing it until the heat death of the universe. But the strongest skill in the Amazon's entire arsenal is Pierce. This skill makes all your attacks get a chance to go through an enemy, skyrocketing everything's efficiency. Every Amazon I ever play feels like something's wrong until I get a few points in Pierce. Don't worry by the way, I did not forget about the Stone of Jordan I found on the Druid run either. I like this character plenty enough to put that ring on it. Razan gets a rattle cage for the crushing blow to celebrate all the upgrades as well. Thanks to all the leveling we are also getting to switch our wither string to a rip hook. The unique razor bow has tons of speed and 30% slow to stack with the freezing from our arrows, effectively turning the armies of darkness into a bunch of smooth-brained slow walking deadites and demonites. Keeping on with the grind and the gear, on level 35 we get these storm fists with +1 to bow and crossbow skills, 10% crushing blow, 17 life and 15 poison resist. As our final gear upgrade for now. Ironically enough, the first monster in the game that will always be cold immune is Frozenstein, who we find in the frozen river. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but it couldn't be helped. The routing just ended up working out this way. Razan is here to the rescue though. Thanks to the cold damage freezing them, the slow enemies on the Riphook and Razan just stacked to the absolute fucking tits. The ancients were just a good old lemon party, just easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's all that means, don't Google it. Or do, I'm not your mom or your boss. I'm just here to be a bad but fun influence. The Worldstone Keep has us finding a set tower shield, which is the Saigon's shield, and while it doesn't say it right now thanks to me just muling my stash to another character, we now have the entire set. It also has +1 to skills and the comment section will tell me that the chance to block is nice as well. I know it's the funny number, but blocking still sucks, just means you're not dealing damage. It's much stronger to just learn to dodge instead. Normally the second wave in the throne room keeps reviving the skeletons, so you have this really annoying fight that just takes forever. Ice Arrow doesn't care about any of that and just shatters all of them, making for a very easy fight to get through. Like me, Baal has a very bad time once he starts getting stabbed and shot. The crushing blow and slow enemies make this even worse for him, and before the fight even gets going on his end, it's over again. Which means it is time to go and do the final thing left in normal, clearing out the Radamant fight for the Book of Skills. With all of the quests rewards that matter collected, we can head into Nightmare. The obvious choice for Act 1 Nightmare is Freezing Arrow. This skill has great damage and hard freezes enemies. This is the bread and butter of every Frost Maiden ever. Frost Maidens are just what people call cold based Amazons like this. Don't worry about it, I just wanted to sound smart and fancy. Freezing monsters unfortunately only works on non-boss monsters, so while Corpsefire's friends all get turned into Corpsefire's dead friends, the zombie of the hour can still slowly menacingly shuffle towards us. No worries though, just a few arrows through his skull, later that problem is solved as well and the den is cleared. All kidding aside, Freezing Arrow is just an amazing skill. It's one of those skills that I wish I could have used later, so while the footage is showing me clearing the act, I am just going to be doing some of the obligatory shilling, cause I should fit it in somewhere. I have a bunch of affiliate links, mainly for Mana Traders, which is a magic online card renting service that I have used a ton in the past, and I have one for GameSir, which is a controller brand. I even use one of their controllers to play this run and play on stream, so if you're in the market for any of those, I've got you covered. I also have memberships open on YouTube and a Patreon, which will have you joining the fine people in the big old scrolling list at the end of the video. I've heard that everyone in that list is amazing and they all find jar runes and shakos every day. That might just be a rumor, but it's what I got told through the grapevine. What I'm saying is, if you want to support the channel, please check out the links in the description. In the meantime, on-screen Andariel has become a smoldering pile of fiery corpse, which means it's a sad time as we wave goodbye to one of the best Amazon skills. Farewell Freezing Arrow, we will miss you dearly. Can't linger on the past though. For our next skills, we are actually moving into my favorite Amazon build in the entire game. I've done a full video on this build before, so I won't go too deep into it here, but we are moving into the Fire and Poison Amazon. For this build, we make our way into Fire Arrow, Immolation Arrow, Poison Javelin and Plague Javelin. Yes, we are skipping Explosive Arrow, but not by accident. Don't worry, it's all part of the plan. You'll see what we do with it on a later character in this run. The Amazon just has skills to spare, so sharing is caring. We are not forgetting the passives either, only dumb people do that. I would never. Going Fire in Act 2 Nightmare has the small downside of the entire third level of the sewer being filled with fire immunes. It's unfortunate but can't be helped. It's just a weird design choice in the game that this area and exactly and only this area has tons of fire immunes starting in Nightmare. It's a big old load of bullshit, but Razan can help out with all of that. Or, well, he can try at least. Looks like it's time for an upgrade. Razan, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but you're losing relevancy faster than we are losing daylight. So I'm going to hire Chelan instead of you because he has a nice and shiny Holy Freeze aura. Skill wise, I went with Immolation Arrow by the way, which as you can see on the screen is an attack that creates flames whenever it hits an enemy. It also perfectly showcases why Pierce is so good, cause it just creates flames in 2 places. I also took down Redamont by the way for the Book of Skill. In the Claw Viper Temple, Deathweaver, who needs to take a bath, drops a unique ring. The one I'm hoping for is a Raven Frost, cause it cannot be frozen. However, it's a Manald, a ring I used to think was very good because it has Mana Leech. But, well, Mana Potions exist, making this ring factually dogshit. Just like in normal, I deal with Fangskin no problems and grab the Claw Viper amulet again. The best part of playing a fire build in Act 2 is that you get to live everyone's dream of lighting the maggot lair on fire, between the immolation happening everywhere and the Pierce speeding it up even more. This entire area was no problem whatsoever. I already mentioned it at the start of the video, but the Amazon is just fantastic for a run like this. There are just so many fantastic skills to work with, allowing you to do a very close to normal playthrough. Like here in the Arcane Sanctuary, where I can just burn all the goats to a crisp before even entering the portal. I couldn't have made things nicer if I tried. I don't mind though, I've learned to just enjoy the nice parts of these runs. The Amazon won't be too bad, but there will be plenty of suffering when we start hitting the Barbarian and Necromancer. That's not to say that I can't use my great proficiency at this game to basically retire from life whenever I choose to. In Tal Rasha's tomb I am just way too overconfident and pushing too much, resulting in me saying hello to the all too familiar "you have died" screen for the first time this run. Chelan is mostly able to tank Duriel for me, so the big old demon ends up just standing still in the fire. He manages to take down old trusty Chelan one time, but on the second attempt the demon goes down for the count and we are done with Act 2 and Immolation Arrow. For the Act 3 party trick I am going with Fire Arrow. This is the level 1 fire skill, and at skill level 19 it is dealing a whopping 63 to 70 damage, which makes me want to go to bed so I can cry in my pillow instead of using this skill, but here we are. The damage on this skill is bad, but low damage just means every encounter takes longer than you want it to, which, thanks to the power of editing, is just my problem and not yours. So after what looks like just a few seconds of gameplay, which it definitely wasn't, I get to pick up the Jade figurine. As you can tell in the Spider Forest, things aren't even actually that bad, which is of course totally thanks to me, and definitely not because Chelan is just hard carrying me through this entire act. I don't know why, but I always think it's really funny when you have the Git Bin quest and it's just one dude being all surprised they are outnumbered and about to die a horrible death for my entertainment. The ring I get as a reward is decent enough I suppose, just not better than the ones I already have. Normally I would be all about attack rating, fire resist and magic find, but the bar is very high at this point for rings. In the Flayer dungeon level 1 a unique large siege bow falls to the floor, which is perfect cause we will be done with the bow skills in this run before we will ever get the stats to wear this. It's a shame though, this bow is an actual damage dealer, a rare commodity among bows. 95 dexterity is just too much at this point though, considering we are on the final bow skill for the entire run. I've used this bow as a druid weapon before, but we are already done with that as well. So an amazing bow, but just no chance to wear it during this. Using a low powered skill also means you've gotta play smart when you can. So on level 3 of the dungeon I clear the flayers from the other side of the bars before going in for the brain. To get the flail I decided to lure out one of the council members on his own, so definitely me and not Chelan could take him down. Mephisto is the last of the monsters that is going to be defeated by Fire Arrow, or any arrow for that matter. The fight is much more successful than I expected it to be. Chelan tanks him and together we defeat the demon, meaning it is time to move on to Act 4. Act 5 always involves a lot of grinding, so I wanted to clear the easiest of the 2 poison skills first so I can use the stronger one in Act 5. Which means that it is time to use Poison Javelin. This skill looks impressive with its 1600 to 1800 damage. That is until you realize it's over 28 seconds, which might as well be months of delay in a video game. The damage on this skill is good, it's just way too slow. Fire Arrow already showed it, but just like in the previous act, that is very much a me problem and not a you problem. Cause I had to play through on that slow ass pace and edit all of the footage down to a cool story for your entertainment. Just know though, while I make it look like everything is zooming and smoothing, every single kill in this act took at least 28 seconds. May you all say a big thank you to video editing. To spare my stats, I decided to just focus on the Maiden Javelin for now. So I equipped the +2 skill weapon and the Saigon shield for an additional 3 to Poison Javelin. Belt wise, I am upgrading from the Deathcore to the Demon Strap-on. I mean strap, sorry, just a little Freudian slip there. Figuring I would be needing the resistances and wanting the magic find, I also switched back to the Tancred's combo again. I don't have any special gloves for this build, so I decided to just use the Light Gauntlets Eldritch dropped back in normal. The power of hindsight strikes again though. I should have gone for the Saigon boots and gloves for the increased attack speed, especially considering my cold resist is atrocious and the boots would have helped out with that a lot. Most of Act 4 doesn't have a lot of poison immunes, so making my way through the outer steps, while a thing of being slow and steady, wasn't hard to do. The Plains of Despair were a bit more annoying with all of the souls trying to search for answers at the bottom of the bottle that is my health pool. Still nothing we can't handle though. The Amazon is just the class that chugs along through all of this. I do have a bad habit of running through way more than I should. Is it because of overconfidence? Nah, I doubt it. It's more impatience with the whole taking at least half a minute per enemy on the screen. There are lots of them in this game after all, and we've got other skills and runs to get to. The second time through I did end up taking my time and worked my way through Hephaestus. The Hellforge got me a Shale rune, although you couldn't see it on the screen thanks to my epic power of frame perfect picking it up. Those 23,000 hours weren't a waste at all. Good on me. After that, I gave Shallan a hustle so he could lead the assault on the Chaos Sanctuary. This place has Venom Lords and the toxicity of their city leaves them poison immune, but Shallan is going to party on their world anyway. Nothing else in here is poison immune, so once again all it takes is time, a lot of time, but we make our way through all of it, casually cheesing the Doom Knights along the way. And with Shallan clearing out the final few stragglers in the Infector of Souls fight, it is time to fight Diablo. I've talked about this many times before, but fighting the act bosses with poison damage is just actual factual ass. You will die of old age before clearing the fight. So instead I swap out Shallan's hustle to a rattle cage so he can crush all of the blow that is on Diablo. One quick nose swipe and a couple necromancy moments ethereal later, the demon goes down, leaving behind nothing. We already have Saigon's belt after all. The next skill on the roster is Plague Javelin, which is just Poison Javelin if it didn't take forever. I personally think this skill is criminally underrated, cause it's very good. It took some buffing it, but they hit it out of the park on this one. Massive poison damage, not too long on the delivery. There is truly nothing to complain about here. Well, besides of course that there are immunes in the game that you can't deal damage to at all, but that is a game design choice and not a problem with the skill. So we are going to ignore that problem like it's 1999. And before people get all serious in the comment section, yes, I know the game didn't exist back then. I know it was created in 2020. At the end of the Bloody Foothills, I quickly deal with Shank the Overseer before making my way up the stairs. It is that time of the difficulty again, the most wonderful time of the year. It's Eldritch time again. The presents start off with a rare circlet that looks like it is for assassins at first, but sneakily just is a fire damage, strength, 18 resist all 15 magic find helm. It'll be best on a Trapsin, but it's no slouch on other characters either. I couldn't be bothered to deal with Izual while having to wait 28 seconds for every sliver of damage, so during the Eldritch grind I went back to Act 4 and dealt with him now instead. We are very much getting into the harder parts of the game, so we have to wave goodbye to our Vidala boots, cause it's time to get good instead of fast. To that end I'm equipping these Havoc Treads. These sport a very nice amount of resistances, almost 70 in total to be exact, almost. Just one off, I figured I'd point it out so people wouldn't miss the joke, and there is some magic find here as well, which is just always nice. Keeping on with the upgrades, we are also moving along to these replenish quantity ceremonial javelins. It isn't the biggest deal in the world that they have the quantity restoration, but it's just nice for the quality of life. Our amulet is also getting switched out into the skull talisman, which has 1 to Amazon skills, 19 dexterity and 40 fire resistance. With that, you'd think the eldritch farming would be over, but we have a lot of levels to go before we can equip the final weapon of the run, so on we grind. One more big drop that happens is a unique maul. This is Bone Snap. It deals a lot of damage and has a pile of resistance to fire and ice on it as well. I don't exactly see how carrying a big wooden maul would give you fire resistance, but it has it nonetheless. The doors in the game are all poison immune, so I have to wait for Shallan to get in a chivalrous mood and open the door for me so I can continue on making my way through. After that walk, I decided it was time for some gambling. The first good one I rolled is a 23 lightning and 31 fire resist amulet. I won't be wearing it on this run, but it will see use on the other characters. The amulet I do decide to wear is this 28 resist all 1, cause that is just a lot of resistances and I'm going to need all of them in hell. With the 3 doors down, I find myself at the peak of the mountain, the Ariad summit, and well, Plague Javelin is a very strong skill, so this fight was easy. It took a few throws, but after just a minute, all 3 of them Socrates themselves out of life completely voluntarily. Just like in the previous act, the Venom Lords are poison immune. What is in a name after all? At first, they gang up on Shallan hard and manage to take him down. However, I got really lucky here and only the Green Goblin followed me through the halls of the Throne of Destruction, separating them from the rest of their gang, making it a quick and easy takedown for our hero Shallan. The rest of the pack at this point had scattered, allowing the hero of the run to work his way through all of them 1 penetration at a time. Wait, that sounds wrong. 1 deep insertion at a time. Still sounds wrong. 1 deep, I don't know. Fuck it, they are dead. Let's move on. The Baal fight is just as bad as the Diablo fight was with the poison. Luckily, the same strategy still works and down he goes. With Nightmare done, it is time to reveal my final weapon. If you've seen the Druid video, you know what it is already. But in that run, I ended up finding Thunderstroke. This weapon just does it all. +3 to skills, increased attack speed, a pile of damage and -15% enemy lightning resistance. And to give a quick explanation of that, enemy resistances in this game work the same as your own. Immunities are created when enemies have maxed out resistances, and lowering them works exactly the same as on your character. So this little mod is just a 15% damage boost to all of your lightning skills, which is a lot considering those will end up doing thousands of damage naturally. Short story long, this mod on its own just makes Thunderstroke the literal best javelins in the entire game, so seems worth it to use them. However, it does require a good old level 69, so after making the obligatory nice joke, it is time to head into the terror zones. In here I picked up a second steel driver, still a great maul. Go gadget editing and that's it, that's all the grind, we are done. Level 69, here we are. I currently don't have a respec available, so I decided to be smart for a bit and lean into the +3 to lightning bolt the Thunderstrokes have and use that skill first out of the lightning skills. The damage looks bad, cause it is bad, but that is only at first while we clear out the Den of Evil. Afterwards we will be able to pump way more points into the entire tree and nothing will go wrong. Before doing that though, I decided to make a treachery. This armor has chance to cast Fade, which gives a huge chunk of resistances, makes your character as see-through as my jokes, and gets you some physical damage reduction to boot. There is also 45% increased attack speed, and the assassin favoritism we have all come to know and love on this run. Once in hell, I start off with a resistance check. With the lowest one being at 36%, things are looking very solid. I know the poison is at -9, but it just doesn't matter. Poison resist is basically irrelevant. Even with the damage of lightning bolt being only a couple hundred, the den just isn't a big deal to clear. It is the tutorial quest after all. So after watching Shallan do a lot of work clearing things out, cause I refuse to spend the gold to repair my weapon, it is time to visit Akara once more. Our skill points this go around are going into the lightning skills. Lightning bolt, fury, charge strike, etc. All of them synergize with each other so you can do no wrong here. Well, except forgetting to put points into the passive tree entirely. Lo and behold, something went wrong. Who could have seen that coming? Surely nothing could have been done differently to prevent this. Not like I just jammed in them points straight away without thinking or anything. No, nothing could have prevented this tragedy. With all of the prep done, the skills all skilled into as much as could have ever been possible with no mistakes ever. The final gear showcase is going on the screen right now. Once that's finished, it's time to go and grind even more levels, because I need those passive skill tree points to function as a human being. Just like in normal, one of the best places to gain experience is the Forgotten Tower and just grinding out those countess runs. Seeing as to how I forgot to skill into the entire tree, I'm going to be here a while. The first real drop I got was an Ist rune. These runes are very popular for their magic find, making them highly sought after online. However, my runs aren't done there but offline instead. So in the stash it goes next to the other one and the Sur rune we got so far. Something that pleases me much more is finding a Baal rune. While Ist runes go in very high level rune words that we will never get access to on a normal run. Baal opens up lots of potential rune words like Lionheart or Obedience, both of which are phenomenal. The trick here is to not immediately make one of them and then find out you needed the other. The trick is to wait to spend your resources as long as possible, allowing you to make the decision with more information later on. Not sticking to my own advice at all, I jammed the runes for the Obedience in the Thresher I had prepared during the Druid run. This is an amazing mercenary weapon thanks to its high damage, enchant trigger, crushing blow and resist all. I believe I rated this either S or A tier in my tier list, and I'm never wrong, which means this weapon is fantastic. If you're a pure numbers kind of person, cause I know a lot of you are, we literally more than doubled our damage potential with this new weapon for Shallan. If double damage doesn't convey my point, I don't know what will. The next great find is a unique Franziska. I won't be using this on this Amazon run, but it is a great barbarian weapon for later on. While playing the sorceress, I teased about how I was going to find a better Geats, which happened right around here. Not only was it better, it was also perfect on the magic find, and since gold is free anyway in this game, it's the only mod that matters. The rare amulet that fell next to it was no slouch either, 1 to necromancer skills and dual resists. If only it didn't roll those god awful bone spirit charges cause they jack up the required level way too high. Such a waste. Without them, this would have been a level 28 amulet if I did my calculations right. Oh well, can't win them all. At least now our necro will have access to level 1 bone spirit at level 72. You can't ever be prepared enough. Having to farm so many levels means that I am also finding so many items, like these battle gauntlets with +2 to bow skills and 20% increased attack speed. They would go great with the cliff killer that also dropped too late. Guess that is my punishment for rerouting my javelin skills to the end of the run because of the thunderstrokes. With us running this much countess, we can get as many runes and rune words as we will ever need for any of the characters. Improving our arsenal, I decide to add the much beloved cure rune word to the collection. This rune word sports a cleansing aura, which makes it so that status effects go away faster. There is also a bunch of poison resist here, which is nice. Picking up even more items for future runs, I also made this level 15 shield with a casual 84 resist all. Cause that's fair. I wasn't kidding when I said we would be here for a while. On one of the many runs I did, I found a unique grim shield, which is the lidless wall. This shield has +1 to skills and mana after each kill. There is faster cast rate here as well, but that doesn't matter for our Amazon. Other stuff I picked up here include one very nice rare Franziska with some enhanced damage and increased attack speed. A unique skull cap from the Countess, which is the Tarn helm. This helm can go up to 50% magic find, so we are one off from perfect. And while this is known as a magic finding helm, +1 to all skills on level 15 is no joke either. And to close out the hours of grinding, I found one of my favorite items in the entire game, the unique Espandon. I've never found a use for this due to the low damage, but every single mod on this is fantastic, so if someone knows a build I could use this on, I'm all ears. Seriously, read that thing. It's like the holy grail of Diablo 2 affixes all on one weapon, but even ethereal the damage is way too low. With that, we finally get to move on. A big reason of why I did not want to go lightning in hell was there being immunes to it in every single act. So from here on out, I am killing what I can, but there will be a lot of running involved in things as well. A little trick you can do to make it so enemies don't follow you around into the Andariel fight is to just close the door. Zombies in Sanctuary would make for the best college roommates. Once the door is locking, they won't come knocking. The Andariel fight itself isn't too bad at all. We just have thousands of damage, and due to me forgetting the passive skill tree, we are just very over leveled at this point. I mean, we've hit level 78. Normally, I would have been done with the game for at least 5 levels at this point. So let's go and reach that point. The next skill I decided on using was Lightning Fury. This skill looks like it's dealing 1 to 1367 damage, but one line above that it casually mentions that it will release 27 bolts, which makes it 27 times as strong. I'm assuming everybody knows what's up, but Lightning Fury is one of the best skills in the game. No jokes, no quips, no nonsense. It just is a top 3 skill for the whole game. And it ranks that low because it isn't great in small areas or against single enemies. For crowd clearing there is nothing better. Moo Moo farms have been turned into Boo Boo farms with this. Seriously, gazillions of cows have been slaughtered using this. Nothing comes close to the massacre this skill has been visiting upon anything in this game. So we are going to be using it to run past all the beetles in the desert. And if you're wondering why I picked it here, just think to yourself, where else would I use it? Act 3 is a massive waste, cause over half the act is lightning immune. Act 4 is so short it's not worth it, and Act 5 requires a more up and personal touch with the ancients, so I'm saving the other best skill for that. Rolling this many beetles is very unlucky though, while you will always get some. Getting them everywhere is just a matter of chance, and sometimes you roll the die and just lose. It is what it is. I'm just happy that in the maggot lair Shallan can take care of them. Once things aren't lightning immune though, oh boy are they getting obliterated. The entire maggot lair ends up being a big tag team through the tunnels, switching up every time the dreaded lightning immunes show up again. We are mostly done with the lightning immunes for the rest of this act, meaning things are about to pick up hard. Everything in the Claw Viper temple just gets electrocuted on sight, meaning there isn't a single problem here on level 1. Not even Fangskin bothered to be lightning immune. One of the most common recommendations in the game is that if you are a lightning based build, you should go farm in the Arcane Sanctuary. I know I'm already plenty high enough level and strong enough, but I decided to farm here for a little bit just because it's relaxing to play a good build for once. During this I picked up +2 to passive and magic skill gloves. They are a hit to the resistances, but getting extra pierce is worth it. While I don't really get excited anymore about things like random uniques or high runes, items that do excite me are things like the Highland Blade I found here. 1 to barbarian skills, 310% enhanced damage and some attack rating with mana leech to boot. Is this the best sword in the game? Absolutely not. But even after all these years I love finding items like this. It's just so cool to see that a sword can actually roll enough damage to be relevant, no matter what class you're playing. If you equip this on level 49, this sword will be hitting like a truck. I also picked up the Sazabi helm, which is always a mixed bag for me. I'm still salty about my Sazabi set run, but picking up a lore with fire resist is just nice. Not a top tier helm or anything, but if you wish your lore had fire resist instead of only lightning, here you go. While that was very fun and relaxing and I could do it for hours upon hours, it's time to get back that trusty old 1000 yard stare by getting back in the trenches. The Tall Rasha's tomb is filled to the brim with fanaticism powered immunes. I do some kiting through them, but I just can't help Shallan here and this is just too much, forcing me to go look for some other way of getting into Duriel's chamber, which I failed at miserably, meaning that it was another save and quit added to the books. The second go round I picked up a set round shield, which is Withstand's guard. This shield doesn't exactly do a lot, but it's good at blocking, and by that I mean it's really good at blocking. I won't be using it or anything, but it's just another one of those items I wish was useful for any build ever. I'm not even going to pretend the Duriel fight was hard, it just wasn't. I don't know what the holy water sprinkler being called the Fetid Sprinkler says about the game, but it's a good weapon with the whole spamming Decrepify and Confuse on there. Having completed Act 2, it is time to say goodbye to Lightning Fury. It was a good time, but it had to end. Lightning Strike is the next skill we are going for. I'm guessing most people have never used this, cause I sure as shit haven't. This is just the sorcerer's skill chain lightning, but on a javelin or spear. Nothing too complicated. Like I said, I've never used this, so we are going to find out just how good this is together. Maybe we blaze through the entire act, maybe we'll be together forever, who knows. Turns out this skill is pretty good. Act 3 is infamous for its lightning immunes, but the lightning bouncing around the monsters is perfect for picking off all the enemies that aren't immune, so Shallan can get to work straight away on the ones that are. In the spider cavern I am easily able to clear out all the non-immunes and grab the jade figurine. Just like in the rest of the act, half of the monsters here are immune though, so I just hang out in the back while he takes care of that. My first instinct was to just grab the eye and leave. But that's no fun, so I sparked some joy to all the spiders before I left. The Flaya jungle was just a lot of running around the lightning immunes. Birds aren't very dangerous though, so while tedious, there was no threat here. That trend just continues in the dungeon. There is nothing dangerous here at all, but everything is still immune to my sparkling personality. Nothing to be done about it though, just got to work through all of them one by one. Chain lighting does speed that process up quite a bit by just picking off whatever it can, but still cannot recommend this at all. I want to write in a way that makes this look exciting, hip and happening, and would make you jealous of what you are seeing on the screen and making you want to do it yourself. But it's just slow, like me. At the end of level 3 I kill the witch doctor before finally being able to move on with my life. which will be a blessed life. I leave from the lower Kurast waypoint only to immediately snag an experience shrine. Perfect, not like I'm over leveled enough or anything by this point. The game has me covered though. I don't want to be too strong and have things going too easy after all. So with the shrine I encounter nothing but lightning immunes I cannot deal damage to, let alone kill. Thanks game, good to know I can always count on you. The ruined temple is the first place of reprieve. There are no immunes here, so I get a nice and easy tome pickup. In the sewers level 1 I find another unique ring from some bats. Sadly enough it's just another mantled heal. It is of the 420 blaze it variety, so that's pretty funny if you're into that. Shocking news, half of the council isn't lightning immune, so those died very quickly. The other half is lightning immune, so Shellan's Bloodlust took those down. They dropped a unique Vampire Fang belt, which is a fantastic melee belt. Nosferatu's coil has 10 increased attack speed, 5 life leech, 10 slow target some strength and 2 to mana after each kill, all at the very flavorful price of 3 light radius. This belt isn't intended for an Amazon, but we have multiple melee classes yet to go, so this will see a lot of use in future runs. We have well and truly reached the point of the run where boss fights just aren't interesting anymore. The mercenary can just solo them no problem even without me being there, and I am very much still there, so Mephisto goes down in a couple of seconds. 2 more to go and 4 more characters to go after that, so only 62 more acts to go. We are making our way through at breakneck speed. For the final visit to Hell Act 4 with the Amazon I decided to use Power Strike. Normally I would do this because it's a level 6 skill and it only has 10 base points, but even with that it deals almost 4000 damage. Seriously, the Amazon was tailor-made to do this run. Not a single other character will have it this easy. Even her worst skill is just casually hitting 4000 damage. A claim other classes can't even dream of on their best skills. That doesn't magically mean that the souls are now not immune to lightning, so a lot of running through and past things is still involved in this. But even the always tanky Isual goes down in a matter of seconds. I got stuck on the stairs to the City of the Damned, which was disheartening and forced me out of the game. There even was a second group of them on the retry, but this spawn gave much less resistance and just got clowned by Shallan. At this point I just want to move on to the next run, so I make the exact same mistake as earlier in the River of Flame by running in way too far without clearing things to try and save time. Spoiler alert, it didn't work this time either. There was a small bastion of monsters fighting back in the Hephaestus fight, forcing me to go back to town once. Once they were gone however, it was a foregone conclusion that the armorer would join them quickly. My Hellforge reward this time around was a Lem rune. No idea what I'm using it for yet, but all in due time. Oh my god, look at that. Something that isn't lightning immune. Look quickly though, cause it's already gone again. The Chaos Sanctuary just wasn't a big deal to get through, Infector happened and all, which normally is a hard fight. But he spawned cold and fire immune, so no worries there. The Grand Vizier of Chaos spawned lightning immune, he always does. But we all know he just isn't an enemy worth mentioning. The Diablo fight came and went without anything noticeable happening. Seriously, Shallan's life total didn't even budge for the entire fight. What was noticeable though were the drops from big old Daddy D. 4 set items, all of them useful even. Well, kind of. The Ogre Maul is the Immortal King's Stone Crusher. This weapon is fucking amazing and one of the best weapons in the game for a lot of melee builds. Damage, increased attack speed, racism to everyone and some serious blow to crush. As the cherry on top, it has 2 sockets as well. Seriously, this weapon is S tier, if only the level requirement wasn't level 76, which is extremely late if we hit it at all. The Bone Visage is Trang'ul's guys. This helm is dogshit, but I have the armor of this set as well, so might be fun to mess around with on the Necromancer run. How did they come up with these mods though? This item is so bad, it's like they fucked it up on purpose. Such a waste. Said sharkskin gloves are Magnus's skin, and while these have nothing to do with chess at all, they are pretty decent thanks to the increased attack speed, fire resist and attack rating. We also found the shield not too long ago either. I've always seen these as laying of hands little kid brother, which isn't a bad place to be at all. The last thing I have to talk about is that I found a unique Yari while killing Shank, but even after 25 years this quest just makes the game function so terrible and drops it to a PowerPoint instead of a moving thing. And the most awful thing happened here. Unique Yaris are amazing and I couldn't pick this one up cause during the Shank disaster my game crashed. I got rolled back to the end of Act 4, so all I needed to do was work my way through the bloody foothills again. Which went decently enough. I got poisoned for a while by some quill rats before finding a rare phase blade that looks so much cooler than it has any right to, considering just how sad the damage on it is. The second time through I just cleared Shank and ran for the hills. I am just going to let the final act play out on the screen while I talk about stuff. You could already see it on screen, but I hadn't talked about it yet. The final skill of the run is Charged Strike. This is a skill that gives you charged bolts, like the ones the sorceress has on every single attack with your weapon. I spent seconds pondering how to make this skill look cool in a new way, but I couldn't think of a single thing that hasn't been already said at least a million, perhaps millions of times at this point. People use this skill on every single javelin and spear Amazon ever. When I built my lightning and poison based Amazon, I used this as the one lightning skill attack, and even without the synergies it flat out clowned on the game. There is no big will at Charged Strike moment. We all know it will. Remember all the way back in normal when I talked about the other skill people use to kill the Ubers with? Well, this is it. I've seen people just exsanguinate them through electrocution, which is totally a thing. I didn't just write that cause it sounds awesome. What I am trying to say is, this skill is pretty good, amazing even, and the final act was just really easy because of it. The Amazon was by far the easiest class for this entire challenge. Every single skill was at least good and a lot of them were great. Some were even the best stuff in the entire game. If you ever want to try this challenge but you're not used to challenge running in Diablo 2, I recommend easing into it with the Amazon. This run was harder than a normal run of the game, but not by that much. My knees never got weak, my palms never got sweaty. Mom's lasagna is ending up in the toilet in a couple days instead of on my sweater. I fumbled it a bit at the end because I was trying to play things safely for a change. I made a town portal at the entrance to the Worldstone Keep level 3, but decided to get the waypoint in level 2 in case I would need it. This resulted in me dying to souls. Seriously, you can't ever win in this game. Don't go safe, die. Go safe, die as well. Getting my corpse back was probably harder than just doing the stupid Baal run. But here we are. It took forever, but Shallan was able to just dig me out of it in the end, one soul at a time. I picked up a 14 life 7 lightning resist small charm along the way, which kind of made it all worth it except for the part where it really wasn't worth it, which was all of the parts. All kidding aside though, that is a fantastic charm and I'm happy to have found it. If I wasn't overpowered enough yet, I found a white monarch in the Worldstone Keep level 3. While I feel I should be getting 2 socket quests, because I did the Shank quest twice, one of the Lazuk rewards is enough to put 4 sockets into it. With a 4 socket shield finally being in my possession, I get to make my second spirit. Skills, faster cast rate, vitality, mana, resistances. This shield is amazing and a staple for almost any endgame build for a reason. I also casually rolled perfect faster cast rate, cause it goes from 25 to 35. I'll show the listified just for completionist's sake, but it almost took longer to say this sentence than to send him to an early grave. Baal didn't do better either. Like I said, people used Charged Strike to wipe their asses with the Ubers. Regular bosses never stood a chance. He dropped the set winged helm, which means we have found 3 of the 4 parts that exist in the Orphan's Call set. Guillaume's face is also one of the best melee helms in the game, so we got some serious gear for some melee classes this time around, but I'll talk more about that when we get there. The amulet was a Civherbs by the way, nothing special. And there you have it, part 3 of 7 done. We are almost halfway through. Luckily for you and sadly for me, the best class is now over, and while not all will be awful, the good times will not roll this hard again during this. In the end, we used 15 different skills to defeat 15 different bosses, clowned on the game with all of them, and had a great time. Thank you all for being here and watching. An extra special thanks to the YouTube members and Patreons, and I will see you all in the next part. Have a good one.